got a very funny thing in my hands. It's a handheld console from Sony called the PlayStation VITA. It was released in 2011 and was a direct legacy of the PSP. On board, this baby has 512 megabytes of RAM, a 5-inch OLED display, with a screen resolution of 960 by 544. GPU, PowerVR with OpenGL, 2.0 support, and 128 megabytes of video memory. We should not forget about the 4-core ARM Cortex-A9 processor with a frequency of up to 2.0 gigahertz. There is Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, microphone, stereo speakers, gyroscope, accelerometer, and of course, front and back cameras. Unfortunately, in 2019, Sony officially discontinued support for this handheld console. How lucky it still is that 5 years before that, in 2014, Mahjong, together with 4J Studios and Sony Interactive Entertainment, decided to create a separate version of Minecraft just for this console. After poking around on flea markets, I still managed to find this marvel and bought it for a very fair price of $20. This is my first, and most likely the only game box for this handheld console. The box is very small. For comparison, here is the game for the PlayStation 5, and here's the one for the Nintendo 3DS. It is a hint for a future review. Leave likes for this video, and the next one won't be long in coming. Inside the box, we'll find a brochure. It's not real, I printed it out for clarity, as well as the game cartridge itself. For comparison, here's the cartridge for Switch, and here's the one for PlayStation Vita, almost identical for the size. Unfortunately, I don't have the ability to show you this in real life, but a PlayStation Vita exclusive was developed for Japan. It came out in 2016, costing approximately $180. For that price, players in Japan received one of 2 white versions of the console. They differed only in the pattern on the back. The original case, a cartridge with the game itself, a customized box, a theme for the console, and 13 different DLC. Now, on the secondary market, such a set can be bought for about $255. It takes about 40 to 50 seconds from the start of the game to get to the game menu. This is quite an excellent indicator for this kind of device. I will start with the standalone network mode. With its help, I can play with friends nearby who also have this console. Of course, none of my friends have this thing, so I can't demonstrate it. But in general, it is the most usual local mode. Even though this console is no longer supported as of 2019, the store is still running to this day. I'm talking specifically about the analog of the marketplace from the Bedrock version. Nothing new appears there, but you can buy old sets. What I liked very much was the leaderboards. Well, that's the kind of thing I'd really like to see in the original game, even if it's on Bedrock. There are a total of 4 leaderboard categories, each with 3 difficulty levels. Travel will show how much the player has walked, run, traveled by minecart, and boated. Killing mobs will show how many the player has killed. Zombies, skeletons, creepers, spiders, spider jockeys, zombified piglins, and slimes. Farming will show how many eggs, wheat, mushrooms, sugarcane, buckets of milk, and how many blocks the player has mined in total. There's a separate table with mined blocks. It will show how much the player has mined. Dirt, cobblestone, sand, stone, gravel, clay, and obsidian. If you suddenly have a desire to take someplace, it will not work. Leaderboards stopped being updated with the completion of this version of the game. A nice bonus of this version is minigames. There are 3 kinds of them in total: Battle, Tumble, and Glide. Battle is a minigame most similar to the popular Hunger Games mode on the Java Edition servers, where players compete in a deathmatch and become the last survivor. If you haven't caught the Hunger Games, you'll probably be closer to Fortnite. It's like Fortnite in a nutshell. Of course, this mode has its own unique features. I think we can talk about them in a separate video about such mini-games. Give me likes, and I will create a special video about them. Tumble is a mini-game most similar to the popular Spleef mode on Java Edition servers, in which players try to make others fall from the arena by using snowballs, shovels, or other objects to destroy the ground beneath them. Glide is a mini-game in which players maneuver around a track while wearing elytras, aiming to finish as fast as possible or score the most points by flying through colored rings. I had never seen minigames like this before, so I think it was unique and only later appeared on the Java Edition servers. What was my surprise when I decided to check if the servers with minigames are still working, that I managed to enter and even play with people. To say I was surprised, that's not to say anything at all. So, in case you have that console lying around, you can go in and play. There's a good chance so far. When creating a world, we have 3 tabs. Load. There, we can load already existing worlds. Create. There, we can create a world with different settings. Go through training, as well as download DLC worlds that you have purchased before, or those that have already been added to your library. In the Join section, you can join your friends to play, but for this, they must open a server, or at least exists. Take some time to tutorial in the game. To my big regret, in Java Minecraft, there is no tutorial. I still do not understand why the developers have not addressed this aspect of the game. To be honest, the developers of Bedrock Edition are slowly adding text-based tutorials to the game, and it already looks pretty impressive. It remains necessary to add such a thing to the Java edition of the game. In all legacy console editions is simply marvelous tutorial. A separate world has been created for this purpose. After starting it on the right side, we are taught about Minecraft through practical tasks. We have to chop down a tree, mine blocks. We are explained what hunger is, satiation, and how the mechanics work. Then we are even told that we can complete a small house on a hill, put doors, glass blocks there, because soon it will be night, and we will have a hard time. Monsters are very dangerous creatures. What is important is that every aspect of the training can be skipped. That is, if you are already familiar with the inventory and the mechanics of crafting in these versions, the game will ask, do you want to continue this stage of training or skip it? Very handy. As long as we're learning, night will not fall. The developers have taken care of that too, but as soon as we pass the most important stage of training, we will be informed that time is running out and monsters will appear at night. No one forces us to leave. We can spend as much time as we want in this part of the location. If you want to go further, there you will find in-depth training in construction, survival, and various game mechanics. I will also note that from version to version, during updates, updated also the world of this training. At the same time, adding different new stages of training related to innovations, as I think such training should appear, and for the Java edition of the game. The last major update for this version was the water update. It was released in 2018. After that, the developers just fixed bugs and added support for new paid DLC. The latest version that is available for PS Vita was released on April 15, 2020. It fixed 7 bugs and, most importantly, removed the ability to port PlayStation Vita worlds to other PlayStation editions. Creating a new Minecraft world is very simple. We have the option to choose the name of the world, game mode, creative, or survival. There's no hardcore in this edition either, but you can choose the difficulty, peaceful, easy, normal, and hard. You can also choose special textures. If you have not bought them, you can play with them, but you cannot save the world. Then we can also choose the seed of the world, choose the size of the biome, even create a super flat world. We can safely say that we have the opportunity to fully customize a new world. Is it still playable in this version of Minecraft in 2024? Let's say it's okay. Of course, there are no stable 30 FPS here. They are somewhere at the level of 20-25 frames at best. But also, let's face it, this handheld console was released almost 13 years ago. In that time, it has had time to get old, and games over those 13 years have only gotten more demanding to the hardware. Forge Studios has done a Herculean job porting the full version of Minecraft to this little device. Everyone who has a PlayStation Vita can safely launch the Aquatic update and enjoy the game. Is it worth buying this console to play Minecraft? Questionable choice. This console has its own cool games, and of course, for the purpose of them, including, you can. If you want a full-fledged game, it's better to look towards Nintendo Switch. For this version, I'll make a review. There's a lot to talk about there too. Overall though, it's playable. I especially like the crafting system, as I think for a device with a limited number of keys, it is more than convenient. Except of course for the fact that you have to choose a specific block or item from the pull-down list. Some newcomers probably may not know that the furnace should be found in the workbench section. Other than that problem, I can't really point out anything else. What about the DLC sets? Things are extremely bad. They are there, of course, as I said, before they can be bought, but playing with them, very difficult. Because of the textures, because of the large number of buildings, everything slows down incredibly badly. At a quick glance, it seems that there are about 15 frames per second. I thought that this is only in one world such a problem, but no. In any other worlds, the situation is no better. You can try it out for yourself if you have a console. There's a great feature on this edition. You can play any DLC if you haven't bought it, but you won't be able to save the world. And achievements and leaderboards won't be available. So, if you have the time, you can go through the DLC in one go and not even buy it. Very handy, by the way. To record all this gameplay, I needed another device called PlayStation Vita TV. Roughly speaking, it's the same console, only without the screen. Yeah, that's how hard I went to the trouble to make this video. But that's not all. When I connected this device to the capture card, I failed. The system wouldn't let me record, so I had to buy a special thing called an HDMI splitter. In the end, for recording I needed a capture card, PlayStation Vita TV, a splitter, a separate power supply for the splitter, 2 HDMI cables, and, as strange as it may seem, a gamepad. Only here another problem awaited me. The thing is that when I decided to create this video, I had a PlayStation 4 Pro at my disposal, in particular a gamepad, DualShock 4. My problem was that in those almost 3 years, I sold my old console and bought myself a new one. For some reason, reason, I thought the DualSense would work fine with the PlayStation Vita TV. But how wrong I was when nothing worked for me. I even tried connecting it through a special 8-bit DO adapter, but the system didn't recognize it and it didn't work for me. I had already gone to Classified's websites to find out the price of used gamepads when it hit me. I have some old gamepads for my computer and it might work. And what do you think? It did. A regular Genesis gamepad worked. I didn't have to spend any money and you didn't have to wait 100 years for this video. I finally did it. I've created a full-fledged review, and I can officially announce another one. A review of a unique version of Minecraft on the new Nintendo 3DS XL. Put likes right in the comments to get this review out as soon as possible. And if you are waiting for a new video, check out these ones. They are also very interesting. Subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and click on the bell. We'll hear from you again.